Okay, we're live from my bedroom and we're on the road. And I'd like to thank TiresTires.com for giving me that reach on social media, as well as Snow Tires. Snow Tires. Tires, second time around tires. Do yourselves a favor and get some sweet tires on your car. So today I'm with my kids and we're all hanging out. I got my oldest son, Benjamin.
Hello.
I got my second oldest son, Samson.
Yo.
And I have my third oldest son, Kanaloo.
Hello.
All right. And now today we can talk to anybody. We're going to talk to entertainers, or maybe we could talk to singers, or we could talk to magicians, or we could talk to, magicians?
Yeah.
Yeah, but first we're going to go to the
Theme song.
Every highway starts to look the same. Mile markers are my minutes in my day. Through my mirrors I can see my home behind me. I signed my soul on the dotted line. Yes, I signed my soul on the dotted line. Yes, I signed my soul on the dotted line. Okay, we are live from my bedroom on the road, and I'm excited every time I'm in my bedroom, even if my wife isn't here helping me with these pomcasts or podcasts, however you want to call them. I don't like to call them anything to do with any type of Apple products, but recently I said pomcast, and because I'm in a French country, they heard pomcast, and they thought I was making a play on the Apple product. And I'm actually doing the exact opposite. I'm trying not to mention Apple, and the more I not mention Apple, the more I'm not mentioning Apple, the more I mention Apple. So this is like its own problem, its own misdirect, and I'm trying to learn from it. But this is the PAL MCast for MediaCast Network, and I'm just reaching out to those who are following their dreams, finding their own successes, and I'm picking their brains to find out how they got there, because we're on the road. And I'm not. And in 2028, like I've been professing, I will be going back on the road because I think it's going to be a hell of a retirement, but a crazy way to live your life when you have children. So I'm excited to have my children here and to be talking to a man. And now he's a man, but when I first met him, the word man would not be the word that you would use. My wife, we live in Port Credit, and there was these, I guess it's the Busker Fest, or there was entertainers on the street. And she was blown away by this guy, or she would use the word kid, but that was probably 13 years ago. And she took a card and said, "You, as a producer, as a live show guy, you need to see this kid and talk to this guy about performing." And so I've been reaching out, and I've been seeing a bunch of crazy stuff online. And he does these birds things because we're doing magigi. We're talking magic, people. And magic's one of those things that takes itself outside of itself. Again, like I said, I don't know why or how it happened, but I started with a lot of stand-up comedians. I guess that's my hub. And now I'm talking to people who are magicians. And the last magician was a comedian magician, and he doesn't hold strange or hold straight to the straight magician. Now, this next gentleman might be closer to the straight magician, going into the supernatural and trying to pull you in to try to answer questions that just are not answerable. So let's reach out and say hello to Ryan. Ryan.
Good morning, Adam.
Good morning to you. And we have you via technology, so speak slowly and speak clearly so we can hold on to all these gems that you're going to be throwing at me so I can listen to it yet again. That's the whole point. I have no short-term memory, so... And I talk.
Of course.
And I talk too much, so I can't seem to listen when I'm talking. Not a good multitasker, Ryan. So as I was saying, we here are talking via the internet, and what I would rather have done, if my first is to go to a place that you would consider your home club, so we could promote a location as well, so people could come see you after they hear about you. And so you were just telling me that you have a place that you would consider your home club in Toronto?
Well, actually, considering you mentioned it, I actually do have a show coming up, I believe in June. It will be taking place at Port Credit Secondary School, and it is called A Symphony of Illusion 3.
Symphony of Illusion 3.
Yes.
That's the name of the show.
Yes.
Okay, but that's not the home club. Your home club is not in Port Credit. And can anyone go to a high school show?
Yes.
Oh, that's new. Like normally, if you show up at a high school, you got to sign them in the office. So the Port Credit High School, is there an address with that? Because actually, even though I live in Port Credit, I do not know where the Port Credit High School is.
I believe it's on Mineola. Mineola. I do not have the address in front of me right now.
Oh, well, okay. Well, you can get online if you have the website. Is the location or tickets available through the website, or is it tickets only available at door?
Both.
Okay.
We will have those details pretty soon.
Okay, when you have them, I will post them underneath your cast on my site. So that's in June, folks. So that's not now. So you'll have time to get those tickets. But we were talking about a home club, someplace that they could see you fortnightly in Toronto, and you gave me a name of a place. I didn't retain it, and the name of the place is
Cherry Cola's Rock and Roller Cabaret Lounge.
Okay, and that's in Toronto. Is there a website to that? Just www.cherrycola Rock and Roll Lounge, or is there more to it?
You can find their page, I believe, on Facebook.
I can find their page on Facebook.
Yes.
Okay, well we can do that. And so that club is it an all ages club, or is it
preferably adults only?
Is it so you have to be 19 plus to?
Yeah.
All right. So that's a 19 plus club. Okay.
Yep.
All right. But I believe where I saw you was in the high school. That can't be a 19 plus. Right. So
that's a family show. Anybody and everybody can come to that show.
Everybody and anybody. I like the way that sounds. So anybody and everybody. So now here you are. The last time I believe I saw a picture of you, you have an assistant.
Yes, I do. Her name is Vanessa Rebs.
Right, and have you? I don't believe you had an assistant the last show I saw you participate in.
No.
Okay, so this is a new venture for you to have a partner in crime.
Yes.
Does that allow things? Look, maybe why instead of filling in the holes, I'll ask. What does that allow to have a partner in crime?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that she's a partner in crime, but definitely a great performance partner and a great friend of mine. And she has been helping me put together some of the secret projects for this year. And I've been getting into working with stage illusions, large-scale stage illusions, and she is assisting me with those illusions. So we have lots of new surprises coming, which we can talk about
Fantastic.
A little bit later on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's where we are, I guess. We're talking about your large stage illusions, because that's actually what kind of I was leading you there, because I assume that's why you would need help. There's something that's happening that you need help lifting the rabbit out of the hat.
Yeah. No sawing anybody in half in this show, but we definitely have. I'm working right now on the classic metamorphosis illusion, kind of my own version of the metamorphosis illusion, which was made popular by Harry Houdini. And many magicians perform this illusion, so I'm very excited to be getting this illusion into the show.
All right, and just like music, do you have to? Is it you have to buy the illusion? It's a purchased, or does someone train you and then you get to put your name on it?
You can build the illusions. You can buy them. I prefer to buy the illusions either secondhand or to build. I have built my own props in the past, and some of the new illusions that are going to be in the show will be built from scratch. Right. But the sub trunk was belonged to another magician, and now I'm using it in my show.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So there you go. So there's a building. Are you a carpenter at all? I mean, or you're not? You buy. So. But I guess there would be that baby step. Are you an inventor? Is there a thing that you can see the making of a trick? So when you buy the trick, you can actually see the inner working. So you actually know how every trick inner works, like with the spring or a slot or a door, something. You're in knowledge of that, but you understand actually how it works?
Yes, I am.
All right. So there's part of the deal. You actually have to have a working brain to understand mechanics. That's part of the magic, I guess. I mean, you have to understand. If you didn't understand how it worked, like using a computer, could you still do it?
With some illusions, you have no idea how they work when you first get them. So you have to kind of or before you get them, so you have to kind of with the method. I can't reveal how the
Nope,
illusions are
not
done.
asking to reveal anything. Don't ruin magic for me. This is not your job to ruin magic for me.
No,
Okay.
but when you get the illusion, yes, you have to be willing to work with how the illusion works, and sometimes that can be a challenge because, like, the difference between sleight of hand and illusion is that you practice with your hands and your heart and your mind, but when it comes to performing illusions, that requires more. It's more physically demanding. You also sometimes have to shift these illusions depending on where you're performing at that time. So the performing with illusions does create a bit more of a challenge, and I'm always up for a challenge. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to incorporating some big stuff into the show.
Okay, so your show's getting bigger.
Yes.
Oh, well, that's interesting. So you're going to go from, like, I'm a lounge act. You're going from the lounge into the main stage, if there was such a changeover.
Yes.
Ah, well, both of those things sounded kind of exciting. So this is a new venture for your own self. So are you going that organically, or how do we? Why are we taking this next step? Why are we going from birds just by yourself, outside shows, to now we have a cohort, if you don't like our partner in crime, but someone who can build for a bigger performance?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question because I decided to train myself according to the different levels in magic. So you can start off with close-up magic. Most magicians prefer to start off with smaller hand magic, close-up magic with cards, coins, sponge balls, and then they work up into manipulation, which is my specialty. I really enjoy performing manipulation with birds and with cards, all choreographed to music. And now I'm working towards larger scale stage illusions. We have this thing that we talk about in the Mystery School that Jeff McBride, who is one of my many teachers, we talk about the different levels in magic, and he refers to them as the first one being the trickster, the second one being the sorcerer, the third one being the oracle, and the fourth one being the sage. So the first one, the trickster, is where the magician kind of gets into smaller hand tricks, more just learning the trick aspect of the art form. The sorcerer gets into things like costuming, music, choreography, lighting, speech, larger scale stage illusions. The oracle is more about the emotions of magic and how we reflect our emotions into the magic that we perform. And the sage is about passing the knowledge on from one magician to the next. So some magicians will do that through the form of DVD or through the form of book. And I believe I'm at the sorcerer stage of being a magician. So I think that's the best way to put it.
Okay. That's the best way to put it. Interesting. That's interesting. That's all I know is what you just said is now. So there's different personas for us to own.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, and for us to own every persona is a growth process for a performer or a magician specifically. Actually, a performing magician.
Yeah, we refer to this growth process in the form of metaphors because I think that's the easiest way to do so. And I hope that makes sense.
No, it does. It does. As I said, I just had my first actual conversation with a magician, talking and actually asking questions, and he walked through basically what you said and said that he only likes to be the trickster. Yeah, because he can own the trickster. Everything else, he feels he's lying more than he needs to. Like he's trying to convince you of more that's going on than there is.
Well, why run when nobody's chasing you, right? So
right, I think that's basically right. So I'm pulling stuff out of my tush. I'm making this stuff up. We both know it. So why give more illusion that needs to be having to say that I'm actually pulling it straight out of the air?
That's a good question.
You just answered it by it's a baby step to understanding your own environment when you are trying to be a performer.
Yes.
Right. No, you've explained it. So I didn't have an answer to that. Now I have an answer to that. So it's your own process, and only after you've tried all four inventions of the magician do you get to choose which one is yours?
Well, I mean, I think it's kind of an age process. The older you get, and the longer you're in magic, and the more familiar that you become with the different levels of being a trickster, a sorcerer, an oracle, and a sage, you can kind of you can compare those to being a close-up magician or an illusionist. I think that's the best way to compare those different levels to.
Oh, right. Also, because of the golden, other than the Golden Child with Eddie Murphy, most sages and oracles are 100 years old.
Yes.
You know what I mean? If you don't have the white beard or the white hair or the aged looking, we don't believe you unless we think you're reincarnated like the, not Buddha, but the same idea in Nepal.
Unless you look like a wizard.
Yeah, like a true-on wizard. Right. Like, I mean, you see a kid, but that'd be a nice little, like a reverse, Benjamin Button wizard. Whether you're like, they're actually 100 years old, but they look like a baby. Right? Kind of the reverse process of that.
Yeah.
So, did you ever do any other types of performing? Because I find that the performance in itself is the performance, meaning there's a stage and an audience. There's so many things you can do on that stage to make the audience be over there. Even with balloon animals. I mean, you're making balloon animals, people tend to make a circle around you. Like, there's the performer and there's the audience. And there's a fine line between them. Have you always been the performer?
I think so. I think so. I think I've always been into being on stage and being in front of an audience and sharing with people. I think that is my strong point, is sharing with people. So performing can, like you said, it can vary on so many different things. Like, you can be a comedian, you can be a balloon artist, you can be anything you want. When I was in grade school, I performed in a lot of Shakespeare plays.
Right.
And I had the chance to kind of own the theatrical skills very early on. I had a great teacher, a great drama teacher in grade school. So, and we did Shakespeare plays in grade 2 and 3, and that's very unheard of. So, I mean, I've never heard of anybody doing Shakespeare plays in grade 2 or 3, and it kind of pushed me to own my performance skills very early on.
Right. So you would say it's a performance. You're even saying drama helped the performance. So the more you know about performing, the easier it might be for translating anything onto the stage.
Yes.
Okay. So any type of time that you can get on the stage, Ben. As I said, my kids are in the room. This is what's important. You have to take every piece of aspect of what helped you get up on stage and utilize it. Doesn't matter if you're doing balloon animals, magic, singing, comedy, whatever it is. Own the stage first and utilize that first beat, and then take that first step forward. That's great. So we're talking bigger stage illusions and some exciting events coming up. Could you be more now? Could you tell me more about what's going on in your performing life to let us know what we can expect for the next 6 months to a year?
Oh, I've definitely got my hands full right now. I'm rehearsing for the Living Arts Center. I'm going to be performing in a Chinese New Year gala, and it's a variety show. So I'm getting ready for that, and that's taking place this month.
Great.
And I'm preparing.
You're preparing. Did we lose you? This happens. That happens all the time.
Choreography, music, drama, comedy, audience participation, all of the different elements that should be in a great magic show are going to be in this show, and we're working very hard to put together brand new props, new costuming.
Is this all for the Chinese New Year show? Everything you're talking about?
No, this is for a Symphony of Illusion 3, strictly for that show.
Okay, so we actually lost you for half a second there. You were talking about the Chinese New Year show at the Living Arts Center, and then we lost you for truly seconds. Then you came back, and I wasn't sure if you were still talking about the same show. So you actually transferred over to another show.
Yes.
Sorry, we actually lost you for like 15 seconds. It was the weirdest thing. We were talking back and forth. You couldn't hear us either, I'm assuming, because you kept talking.
No, I could hear you, absolutely.
Weird. Okay, so you could hear me talking over you. I'm sorry about that. So what was the second show? The first show that we're getting geared up for this month is the New Year's show for China.
Yes.
Okay, and what was the next show you were helping us learn about?
A Symphony of Illusion 3, which is a show that will feature grand illusion, live dubs, music, choreography, drama, and comedy. And that will be at Port Credit Secondary School in June. And yeah, we have that. I'm working on a brand new YouTube series, which will feature close-up and street magic done in live circumstances, under live circumstances. So that's another interesting project. I'm also working on, it's kind of a secret project. I'll be meeting with two magician friends of mine, and it looks like I will be going to a couple of different schools to, hopefully, if this works out according to plan, I'm going to be teaching magic at different schools, and I'm looking forward to that as well.
Well, that sounds awesome. Everything you just said is awesome. So the YouTube series that's going to be for your own channel, your a YouTube channel.
You got it.
Okay, so your website, which hopefully you'll give me as a link, so I can put it onto my site, so people can attach themselves to that and look for your street magic. I love street magic. I love all types of performing, and that's half the reason I'm doing this. My kids love to see me performing, and all of them want, I think, to perform. So I'm having them have conversations. So at this point, I like to ask my son to ask. I have three boys, and all three are interested in some form of performing, and of course, all three are great audience members. So we're gonna start with my my oldest son, Ben, and he has a question for you. This is Ryan Brown. What's your do you have a title? Like I have a friend who's the Incredible Boris. I have do you have a something like the incredible, sensational, the illusionist of the, or do you have a
Most refer to me as just as the magic of Ryan Brown, and that's completely fine.
The magic
of Ryan Brown.
Oh, the magic of. So it's like the magic stylings, the magic. It's his own brand, and he's now getting bigger and bigger, Benjamin. Which is what we were basically discussing. How he. And now he's going back to his roots, it sounds like. You start with the close-up magic, and he's going bigger and bigger and bigger to come back to street magic. You can't bring out the big illusions on the street, can you?
You can. Oh, yes.
Oh.
As long, like I have illusions that I can perform completely surrounded 360 degrees. And I'm hoping to bring some of those illusions to Port Credit in the park eventually down the road. I mean, that's the intention. And to bring illusions that are commonly performed on stage under theatrical conditions to outside where you're surrounded 360 degrees, I think that would be quite amazing, and that's one of the challenges that I'm going to be putting myself up to, hopefully this year or next year.
Okay, so that's his. So let me pass the microphone over to Benjamin. Say hello, Ben.
Hi.
All right.
Hi, Ben.
All right, now guys, ask your question, sir.
Okay, so you're gonna perform in the Living Art Center, and you're gonna be teaching magic, and you're a great magician. So what up?
What else? Well, let's see here. Just continue performing and getting myself out there as much as possible. I think that's an important element in being a performing magician.
Okay, that's his answer. You have another question, sir?
Where's the biggest place you performed? Like the biggest audience?
The biggest audience. I performed at a corporate event, a fundraiser, just recently for one of the political parties, and I performed for 1,000 people.
1,000 people? Wow, that's a lot of people. All right, Ben, one more question, and
you said you're going to be teaching schools in just Port Credit?
This could be taking place in Toronto. I don't know the details yet, but I've just been talking to a friend of mine about like teaching magic at different schools, and I figured why not try and promote that idea now. So yeah, it's going to be taking place mostly in Toronto, and hopefully we will be bringing these classes to Mississauga as well.
Well, my school's in Lorne Park. That's my question.
So you would like us to come to your school?
Yeah.
Right, so where's the documentation that he can give to his teacher to say, can we sign up for this?
Yes, White Oaks.
We can definitely see if we can work that out. I don't see why we couldn't.
Okay, well, so we'll try to get some information to his school to see if we can get enough people to sign up for this venture. I guess that's how it goes, right? Enough people want to be involved. That's throw some money to Ryan, he'll be there. And he wants people to understand magic. It's one of those things, you love it so much, you enjoy it so much. You can't love inanimate things, but you enjoy it so much that you want to try to have other people enjoy it with you, like a good book or a good movie. That's why you talk about it. Okay, so I have my second son, who I will call my second oldest. I have 3 boys. And there's no reason to. The microphone stand is a gooseneck, and it fell over, and the kids are now laying on the floor to use it. Okay, Samson, and that's Samson. Could you say hello to Ryan?
What's up?
What's up?
No, that's not the question. That was your first question. So let's go with your second question, my second oldest. Go ahead there, Sammer.
What's your favorite thing to do?
My favorite thing to do outside of magic, or just in magic in general?
No, you see, you can use that as any way you want. I mean, if magic's what is your gig, but you'd rather be painting, this would be your opportunity.
What do I enjoy performing the most in magic? Well, I think that's a very difficult question because I enjoy performing all different scopes of magic, close up and stage, but I really enjoy performing with doves. I really enjoy making birds appear and making them multiply, and I enjoy making cards appear from thin air. I really enjoy creating that sense of realism when it comes to performing magic. And I've got this kind of new thing, this new concept that I've been working on of combining reality with magic. Reality being, real life situations with magic to create a sense of realism for the audience. And that seems to be kind of a new thing that I've been gearing towards, pushing towards.
That sounds like you have a plan. What were you saying?
Awesome.
Go ahead.
What's your favorite thing to eat?
My favorite thing to eat, wow, I love pizza. I don't know I don't know anybody that doesn't like pizza. I really enjoy eating pizza. I also like, and I think this is one of the things that I'm guilty of. I really like drinking a lot of coffee, and I enjoy eating ice cream and the stuff that's not so good for you.
Honesty is the best policy.
Cakes and cookies and ice cream and all these different things. I enjoy it. I enjoy it all.
Okay.
I like tacos.
Tacos are great too.
He likes tacos. He got that last beat in. So you do like doing your magic. What I find interesting is that when people ask that question, normally their answer is the job that they do, the gig that they have. I'm actually quite happy. I get a big smile on my face when performers are asked what they like to do and they're doing it. I don't know if there's a lot of people in life getting away with that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I'm living my dream, Adam, and I'm grateful that I had the chance to do this. I can't wait to see what the future will bring. I'm excited. I'm ecstatic. I live and breathe what I do. I don't think there's a moment in the day that I stop thinking about magic. And yeah, I really do enjoy it.
No, that sounds great, and that's one of the reasons why you're one of the reasons why I'm being pulled through. You seem very positive, and if you can keep that positive energy, 'cause it's very difficult as a performer to keep that positive thing growing, because it's always you feeding your own self. And we're artists, we get sensitive to criticisms or critiques, or even what do you call that? Compliments.
Hey, can we talk about that for a second? I mean, I'm a very sensitive guy. I think most artists are sensitive, and I don't know if that's a pretty strong statement to say, or a pretty strong thing to say, but I believe a lot of artists are sensitive to criticism, and I think to survive in this business, to thrive in this business of show and performance and magic, you have to have a very tough mentality towards these criticisms. You have to know how to use them. You have to know how to thank people for them and appreciate them without getting offended by the criticisms, even the most terrible of criticisms. And yeah, I think that's one of the biggest learning lessons for me right now, is learning how to take criticism without getting offended, because as I said, I think a lot of performers are very sensitive to the criticism.
Yeah, no, I think there's a process of taking compliments as well as criticism.
Yeah.
I take everything personally, even if someone cuts me off on the road. I take it personally. I don't know how not to take it personally.
Yeah.
So I'm reaching out to you with words because I have nothing else other than when someone says something to you, they didn't have to. And now that they said it to you, there's got to be stages of how you accept the filtration process. But this is
Yes.
not going to stop you from being you. All it can do is enhance what's already there or make aware of what's already there. That's what you have to keep walking away with. Nothing is new or nothing's different because of one human being's POV, perception of something. But they didn't have to share. And now that they did share, it's got to be worthwhile, even if it's crap. Even if it's crap, it's still got to go through the process of you getting your own strength back to say, you know, that's what happened. That's what they said. Maybe it happened then. Maybe I should learn. And then, you know, chew it up. Chew it all up so it's small little baby pieces so you can swallow it.
Yeah, or the best way to refer to this would be to refer to it as unsolicited critique or unsolicited criticism, and performers get a lot of it. And the best way to handle that is to just thank them for their feedback, thank them tactfully, and again go through the process. Write down the feedback, write down the criticism, think about it. It doesn't mean that you have to take that advice, and it's probably not a good thing if you do take that advice all of the time, but to take that advice into consideration and move forward and keep pushing forward. I have another magician. I have a lot of supporters out there. Another magician friend of mine. He's always telling me, you know, Ryan, just keep pushing forward. And I think, again, that's one of the keys to being a successful performer is that you have to keep pushing forward. You've got to have a very strong mind. You have to have a very strong mentality when it comes to receiving criticism and feedback, for sure.
Okay, so there's our advice, and that's great advice. You're saying listen to it, don't bring it into your life necessarily, and then I'm suggesting, as you are, there's a filtration process. Don't change yourself because of unsolicited advice. It's not going to make you a better you, but what has to happen is the process of accepting. Like you said, thank you very much for your information. But all it is one man's opinion. So you have to stick to your guns because that's what gets you up in the morning and gets you in the car and driving 15 miles in that direction or 150 miles in that direction or getting on a plane. And what's the farthest you've been since we're talking about on the road?
Well, I performed last year, the year before, in Erie, Pennsylvania. That was the first time I ever hopped on a tour bus and left the country to perform magic. And I performed at a corporate event it was for a tour company, a bus tour company. And I've also traveled to Las Vegas. I learned from, I would say he's probably the best magician in the world. Not only the best magician in the world, but one of the greatest teachers and one of the greatest minds in magic, Jeff McBride. I traveled to Las Vegas and I had the chance to learn from him at his school, the McBride Magic and Mystery School. And I spent time with him, and that was a massive dream come true for me because I've always looked up to this guy in the biggest heroic sense. And yeah, I'm speechless to this day. The amount of support that I have received from Jeff McBride has just been overwhelming. And I think I have him to thank for a majority of the growth and maturity that I have gained over the years as a performer.
Well, I'm sure in your world as well as mine as entertaining goes, most of the people that were 10 to 15 years your senior when you started, through osmosis, you can't help but learn.
No.
Right, so anyone who you probably saw, and that's the fun part, because you're not going out of your way to learn, you're just sitting there and learning. You'll walk away maybe with a trick of somebody else's, but not on purpose. Not on purpose. That's not how this works. Until you work on the same stage, and the guy who's been doing it 30 years before you says, you know, that's my trick. Like, oh, yeah. I did see you do that trick back in 1995. You know?
Yeah, for instance, when I worked Cherry Cole's Rock and Roll Cabaret Lounge, on February the 14th, Valentine's Day, and I bumped into a magician friend of mine, David Baldini, and we were working on some ideas together, but I pulled some things out of the hat no pun intended. Put some things out of.
And by the way, as a performer, all puns intended. Can I throw that
Okay, that's great.
Can I throw that out there? Let's pretend that you're thinking 5 steps ahead of the groom, and you're always all puns intended. Hello. Anyway, keep going. So Baldini, not Baldini, but with balls, not with bald head.
Yeah, no, bald head because he.
Oh, Baldini. I'm sorry, I heard you say Baldini, but I assumed you meant Baldini because he has tricks with balls. I was assuming he had balls that he made disappear in cups, and then they got bigger. You know, a big bald magician. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Baldini. He actually has no hair in his head.
We were inspiring each other quite a bit on Valentine's Day with different effects, and I pulled some things out of my hat and shared these effects with him. And you know, we get inspired when we share ideas, and I think that's what magic thrives on is this whole idea of sharing magic. And I think that kind of went out the door when a lot of YouTube videos started coming up and magicians started getting mad at each other because they were exposing magic tricks on certain people were exposing magic tricks on YouTube. And
right.
I believe that magic will become a stronger art form when magicians start spending more time with each other, when they start jamming together, when they start sharing the magic together, instead of trying to keep the magic. Share the magic, share these ideas, because that's, I think, just like any other art form, that's what it thrives on is the idea of sharing.
Right, so it's an us. You're thinking it's an us and them scenario, the performers against the audience. Let's all bring the best show we can bring to the audience to make ourselves the best performers we could possibly be. All right, that's not a bad idea. All right, so I now have my youngest child with me, or my third oldest, depending on who you talk to. And now I'm going to give the mic over to him. Say hello to Ryan Brown.
Hey, Ryan Brown.
How are you?
Good.
All right, let's hear some questions.
What's your favorite color?
My favorite color is purple.
What's your favorite number?
11. My favorite number is 11.
What's your favorite song?
My favorite song, that's a tough one because I have a lot of favorite songs.
You can take what's your favorite song right now? What's your favorite?
Yeah. I'm just gonna throw this out there because I have so many favorite songs right now. One of my favorite songs is "Doctor Love" by the band Kiss.
I do like me some Kiss.
That's all my questions.
No, you had one more question normally. Did you give up on your last question?
I can't say that to him. He's a performer.
Oh, right. He learned from talking to all the performers that you don't ask performers how old they are.
Oh, well, that's perfectly fine. Would you like me to answer that question?
Would you like him to answer that question for you?
Sure.
I am 24 years old.
He is a case of beer. He is a 2-4. All right. Well, that was great. Thank you very much for answering my children's questions, which is one of the big reasons I'm ventured and motivated to do this, as well as learning for myself. Do I have the chops to have chit-chats of conversations? I wanted to have this conversation with you over the course of the last, 10 years? I think I've been in touch with you over the last 7 years of we need to talk just to try to tell me what's your goal, what are we trying to do, and if I can help, I will. Either promoting where you're going to be, or if I hear someone looking for magicians for a magic show, I now have someone who I know who's happy to do such a thing. Have you been on the radio before doing magic?
I haven't been on the radio, but I've done lots of local television, and I've been on MTV. I performed magic for a band called These Kids Wear Crowns, and that was kind of my first major television exposure. I haven't done any radio broadcasts, so this is a first for me. I'm actually, be honest, I'm actually kind of nervous.
Oh, that's nice. So I'm glad we can walk through this little. Well, this is a good little. I promise you, this is a great baby step because most people in radio aren't going to keep you in a room for an hour. Normally, the radio I've ever done, the radio guy will not stop talking. Dead air is not good in this business. So if you don't answer the question, they'll keep talking. Like there's no stopping. You have a moment of so how do you feel? Well, if you're not going to tell me, I understand because there's got to be really nervous. But if you're really nervous, how about the show tonight? You only wait a half a second. If you don't jump in half a second, the other guy just won't stop talking. The reason I asked about the radio is because I was hoping I could get a radio bit out of you. because we didn't have a pre-show. Like I didn't call you before the show and say, hey, can we work on that? Because I would love to come up with the concept of the radio magic program.
Yeah, we could do something like the Magical Arts Hour.
Yeah, or something like this, but I also want to actually try to perform. The last time we were on, we did a running commentary of James Allen doing card tricks. So it was like we were watching a sporting event, and if you're watching golf on the radio, where you have two guys, basically describe video. It's describe video, but the two guys are telling jokes, and that's all that's going on. To try to enhance the magic. So the magic's happening, but I also thought there was 2 or 3 things that could actually translate. Tricks. I'm going to call them tricks, for lack of a better word. Some magic that could happen on the radio where you think of a number, then you add 108, divide it by 6. You were thinking of 11. You know what I mean? Like, I know there's tricks like that.
No, there is a trick. I don't know. This may not work, but we can try something like that right now if you would like to.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm asking, because this would be then what I'm going to call the bit. Like, I'm looking for a bit. So far, you've given me 2 or 3 gems of information. Normally, when I ask performers, mostly comedians, like, how are they? I mean it. Like, that's kind of what we walk through. How are you? I'm good. No, I'm serious. Like, how are you? I really want to know. And then you say, no, I am working out some things, but I am okay. Like, I would say that with performers, doctors, and lawyers, I'm actually really asking that question. Like, in most cases, people just walk by, yeah, okay, whatever. Like, I don't actually think they're listening. It's like it's something you do when you meet people. But I'm actually asking, how are you? And I think you sound like you're in a great place.
Right now, yeah. I mean, I won Toronto's Best Magician of the Year in 2012. And last year I won We've Got Talent, which is a small version of America's Got Talent that takes place in Toronto. And I won that championship, and in the same night I also received the People's Choice Awards. The People's Choice Awards.
See, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Even without the People's Choice Awards, you know, you have. I'm pretty sure there's some people out there choosing you. So is there something I need on my side to try to see if we can get a piece of magic to work on the without seeing stuff?
Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. I want you to think of a number from 1 to 5. 1 to 5. Just think of a number, any number, 1 to 5.
Okay, I got it in my head. I got 1 to 5 in my head. Got it.
3. It is the number 3.
It is the number 3. But okay, I'm not too sure how you worked that out. I actually thought I wanted to say I was thinking the number 1, and I said no, think 3, and then I thought 3. I said I'm okay, and then you said 3. So how did that work out?
Magic, Deborah.
All right. Well, that's we can't get better than that. I love me the magic. Thank you. Don't stop doing what you're doing. We will talk again. If anything great comes into your life, please keep me abreast of what's going on in your days to come. And I'd like to thank you for spending some time here with me and my children, live from my bedroom. Thank you, Ryan Brown.
I had a lot of fun. Thank you for having me on the show.